What was the best part of the film that you made? Yeah.
Thanks for bringing your own microphone. That's good. The best part of the for me, the best part of the film was in the third act when the elevator bay, when the ding and they all come out and it's a slaughter fest and it's just your imagination runs wild and you're like, I want to see a whole movie with that animal. I want to see a whole movie with that monster and that creature. That was really the most exciting part for me. And also, I just remember being on set when they were shooting it and how many oil drums of blood we used. It was really troubling. It made me consider what I'm doing with my life, to be honest. It was way too much blood and he was way too excited about it. But that's my favorite part. Somebody not in the back. Hello, sir.
I believe at some point they were talking of releasing this in 3D. I'm so glad they didn't. But was that just talk, or was it?
Yeah, well, when the delay happened, that was right around the sort of 3D craze swept Hollywood. And from Hollywood's point of view, every movie needs to be 3D. The whole reason Avatar was successful was because it was in 3D. And we sort of had to weather that storm. And they asked us to make it 3D, and we said, well, look, we don't want to, because I didn't shoot it for 3D. I'm not against 3D, by the way. When a well-done 3D movie is made, I'm the first one in line. But I didn't shoot this for 3D. That was not my plan. It wasn't the plan here. They just wanted to retrofit it like they were doing. That got very fashionable. And so we just weathered that storm. We just said, yeah, okay, we'll explore it, but knowing that we were not going to do it. And luckily, there was the one benefit of the bankruptcy, because once that happened, when our new owners came in and we said, yeah, we're not making that 3D. And they said, God bless you, we don't want to. So it worked out. Very back.
Why did you not elaborate more on the mystical monsters and instead of going for the cliche zombies?
What's that? Sorry.
Why didn't you elaborate more with the monsters, the variety of monsters, when you went cliche with the zombies?
With the zombies, as I said, we just wanted to feel familiar. You wanted something that felt a little classic and familiar before we went insane, because it was important for us, for the audience, to sort of know, what we were doing.
It's a super film. How long are we going to have to wait for the video game to come out? I can't wait for one.
It's so funny. We had a video game ready, and then the delay sort of happened. But it's because everything I've ever worked on, people have said, "Oh, well, let's make the video game." And I'm like, "Do you guys play video games? That's going to be Lost is going to be a terrible video game, right? For instance. But this one, I go, "Oh my God, that will be a great video game." So hopefully they will let us do it, because you've got everything you need. You've got things to kill and cute kids with guns. Yes.
With a film as unique as this, how important is it to you to keep a lid on spoilers?
Yeah, it's tricky, Obviously, as a filmmaker, I want to not spoil anything. I want everyone to go in fresh and not know anything, but that's just not the world we live in. If you want to find things out, you can go on the internet and find them out. The thing that's important for me is I feel like most people don't want to be spoiled. I feel like most audiences want to be surprised. They want to see something new. And so the trick is more protecting those people rather than it is preventing the spoilers. Because the trick is if someone really wants to be spoiled for any movie, they can figure it out. That's just the day and age we live in. But it's much more important to me to protect the people that don't want to be spoiled, which in my opinion is most people. Most people want to be surprised and have fun and find something new. They don't want to read about it on the internet first. So the nice thing about this movie is when people see it, they definitely, you hear over and over again, oh, it's better if you don't know. It's better to be surprised with this movie. And so people are doing the work for us. They're just sort of saying they don't want to ruin their own experience. They want to be surprised.
What were your favorite monsters, each of you?
In the movie or in real life?
Oh, in the movie.
Not real life, because there's no monsters.
Unicorn.
One of my favorite ones, which you'll probably have to rewatch it on DVD and Blu-ray to pause it to see, what was the angry molesting tree. Yeah, she knows what I'm talking about. That one is pretty amazing. There was also the ballerina with the million lines of teeth. She's cute, isn't she?
Ballerina Dintata.
Dintata, of course. Sure. What else?
Yeah, you reminded me of a story about the angry molesting tree that I enjoyed. So I'm in the visual effects review for that shot when all the elevator doors open, and there is actually a tree that shoots its arm out and grabs a hold of a guy and has its way with one of the people if you look closely. But the first couple of versions I saw of it were way too graphic, and I actually stood up in a visual effects review, which is much like this. It's a sort of small theater with a bunch of artists sitting around and watching the shot frame by frame, and I had to stand up kind of angry because that's what you do when you're a director, is you yell. And I said, guys, this is crazy. This is not an angry raping tree. This is an angry molesting tree. And just to see all these guys take notes. Yes, sir, right away. Less rape, more molest. And he did. If you watch closely, it's much more gentle. It's awkward and uncomfortable. That's really good idea. That will be on the DVD. Slow that down. It's one special feature, the art of molesting tree. Yes.
Just following up from that question, which of the nightmares scares you two the most?
I've always said, it's funny when we were sitting around brainstorming, because this was a fun movie to brainstorm with my crew and my team. But the more you think about it, the more you realize that simple is better. And for me, at least, there's nothing scarier than a guy with a bag on his head. And there's just a guy with a plastic bag over his head that's just walking around suffocating people. It scares the absolute shit out of me. When he showed up on set, I was just like, I can't be here. Josh, could you please shoot this part? Because I can't even look at this guy. This guy's terrifying to me.
Yeah, the simpler also the better for me, because it's like those guys with the baby masks, the two people in the suits, with the weird baby doll masks, and more come up behind them. And I think they pretty much had gasoline cans, right? And they're just quiet. They take anything basically that takes their time, right? Like, why are you so confident in all this chaos that you can just stroll and then just pour things on people? They knew what they were doing. That freaks me out. It freaked me out tonight.
We have time for 2 more questions.
Okay.
So who thought of the unicorn?
Sorry, say that again?
So who thought of the unicorn?
You know, this is funny. When we started thinking about this movie, I was at Comic-Con in San Diego, and I bought a T-shirt. There was a T-shirt that made me laugh that had a werewolf charging at a unicorn, and it just said under the T-shirt, it said, "It's on." And Josh and I thought that was hilarious, and we looked at it and went, well, that's the movie. And so I probably owe those T-shirt people something, because they really inspired us to stick a unicorn in there. Yes, in the back.
What were the most difficult scenes to shoot and why, for both of you?
Most difficult?
Yeah.
Probably, probably when after I get slaughtered and we careen into the tank. Remember my Navy SEAL training that I mentioned earlier? That and because we'd actually shot that pretty extensively, and kind of navigating in the water with all this crap on, and you have to find a way to be safe and find a way to try to get. We played it a couple different ways, and it was you're all tangled up in there, and there's 3 people down there, and you're underwater, and you could die. And it was probably like 5 a.m. That was kind of late in the process. That was one of the more like demanding ones. You got to pay attention, certainly. But also when Kurt revs up the motorcycle and has to jump off the cliff, that was a really cold night and kind of pretty intense. And he's really riding the bike, and we had a really great stuntman that night as well. So that was fun too.
Yeah, for me it was there's the cocktail party that happens when REO Speedwagon is playing, and there's the fight happening in the background, which logistically is extraordinarily difficult. We didn't have the money to green screen and all those shots, and I knew I wanted to show a fight scene, but show it in the background. So we had to shoot the entire fight scene and then time it so that it was happening in the background while people were talking. And it was the strangest day of all time, because we brought in all these extras who had no idea what this movie was about. Right? We couldn't, because we didn't tell them. And we're just like, just act natural, just act like you're at a cocktail party, and then boom, REO Speedwagon starts playing at the top of it, and then we put all this stuff on the screens, and you just saw people like, what the hell is going on? Like, I know, stop looking at the screens, you gotta just be cool, that's what's important. And you couldn't get them to stop looking at the screens because it was just so absurd. And we must have played REO Speedwagon 9,000 times that day. But it was definitely a fun one. Any more? Should we do it?
Anyone has one last question for luck?
All right, for luck.
For luck.
For luck. Yes, sir.
What have the critics said about the film?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been overwhelming, I have to say. The critical response has been, beyond our wildest dreams. Because certainly, when you deal with subject matter like this, you don't expect to be lauded for it. But it's been great. They've definitely kind of understood what we were going for. And this whole thing has been a dream come true.
Has the Doctor commented on it?
The doctor?
Yeah, on BBC, on Radio 4.
I don't know.
As a doctor, I will make sure.
There's a gentleman on the Radio 4 who's horrible, and his PhD is in horror.
Oh, got it, yes.
And he talks today. He was on today on Radio 4. Is it on there? Mark Commode.
Talk about if anyone knows the doctor, please give him a call.
Mark Commode.
Okay. Got it. Well, thank you all so much for coming. This is the sort of thing that we're going to remember for the rest of our lives. This is so great. And thank you to this theater for having us, because